This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, May 26th, 2020, episode 280. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, changelogs, things, news, conspiracy theories, other items each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, you can visit our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. And you might be wondering, wow, Nick, why are you so stumbling over your words here? And it's, I'm looking at the show notes. It's got the wrong episode title. It's got the wrong date.
I didn't change that.
And I'm like, the intro's playing. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. What's happening here?
So that is 100% my fault. I didn't even bother changing the header.
So
now, if you notice, I don't see what you're talking about. I just don't even.
Yeah, there's definitely not editing of the word. There's definitely not editing of the Word doc going on as we are.
2.5 more seconds. I have no idea what you're even. It looks perfect right now at this moment.
I agree. Just deflect until you're right. Thank you.
I dare you to show that again. No problems.
Sabotaging the show to promote his chicken stream.
Oh, wait a minute. Yours isn't updating.
Yes, it did. It did.
Mine
update.
Says 279.
Where, on the live stream?
Yeah.
Well, the stream's delayed.
I know, but it must be. We must have like a 10-second delay then.
Wow.
Weird.
Well, you know what else is? You know what else is? You know what else is supposed to be low latency? The show title and date being updated before the show starts.
I should just take those out, or have it be like,
no, don't take them out. That's how I do the intro. What do you mean take them out?
I need to make them a variable that when I change like the title, it automatically changes that text. That's what I need to do.
Nick, see, I'm the real MVP. Thank you, Firebomb. Well, speaking of MVPs, Mr. Brian with an eye Aldridge with a freshly cut head of hair, which is something I cannot say, as I'm practically got a mullet going on
for months.
You're looking good, Brian. You're Bob. You've got a nice fade going on the side there.
Oh, I know my barber. He's pretty good. That's
what a nice single man's looking like. Getting the fade going on, hanging out with all the ladies.
I have to try. I actually have to try right now. It's like, what?
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hi. Well, first of all, if you want to find me, you can find me at Boise Computer on Twitter. You're more than welcome to go check out my blog. It's biteoftech.com. Also, if you go check out our website, infectionpodcast.com, you'll notice on the right-hand side, we have a green icon that says join our server on Discord. If you do that, you can submit news throughout the week. You can hang out. We're going to be talking about a game that we're going to be doing for our Friday night game night on Friday. So you're more than welcome if you want to join us for that, to jump into our Discord. We're going to be actually giving some games away during that Friday night game night as well. So one more reason to be in there and being ready to play. If you want to get notifications before this live show starts, you can do that through our Steam group. On there, you'll notice a green button right below Discord. It says join our Steam group. You'll get one notification per week usually, and it'll be just a little bit before the show. If you happen to be at your computer and you happen to have Steve open, it'll pop up and you can come join us live, participate in the game giveaways, things like that. If you want to get the video versions of our show, it can either be live or after the fact. You can do that through Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and BitChute. If you want the audio-only versions, you can do that through the lower right-hand side of the website. There's links for whatever platform, device you have. You can click on there, and we've got a nice system that helps you find what you need to use to listen to us. We also have a link right above that. There's one that goes to our extras channels. That's one that one of our viewers, listeners, watchers, actually he'll cut the pre-show and post-show that you guys, if you're always listening or if you watch the YouTube only versions, you don't get to see all those. So we've had a fan go on there, cut those, post them as videos. It's pretty nice that he does that.
Yes, our friend Judd does those on our Infection Podcast Extras channel, and
they're much more interesting than the actual show. So
yeah, and it's I'm not going to do that work. So thank you, Judd. we appreciate it. And Brian sure as hell's going to do it. Can't even update a damn title in a Word document. That's true. I didn't.
Usually, that's like the first thing I do, and I just didn't even. I didn't even do it.
It's fine. You literally did the rest of the prep, so I mean, I think I can work through this. These are extreme working conditions I can't work in. The guys, this is the end. You're seeing the end of the podcast right now, and it's never my fault. It's never been my fault, except no blame.
Never. One thing I do need to do is, because right now our Amazon link isn't working correctly. So I got to figure out how we want to do that. If we want to just switch to mine and then just have like count those funds, like count the totals, or if we want to try to upkeep that, because they're more picky and we don't watch those emails super closely, and so they turned it off and probably sent some generic emails saying that that we had to do something that we didn't catch.
And we should go ahead and get that re-enabled. I'll work on that this week.
I mean, I actually started the process, but there's some more information I need to put in there. So, gotcha. I mean, I figure I'll talk with you, see what you want to do, and then we'll make it work either way.
Absolutely. So. Well, I do want to mention our game of the week, Brian. We're very excited to be playing Xera for our Friday night game of the week. There was a pretty big update in their season 2 that they're in now. And we've also got a whole bunch of keys to give away, courtesy of Joshua and the team over at Xera. We're going to be giving away 4 keys during the live show, all at the end. You'll have a chance to join at your normal time, and then we'll have a couple of more shows coming up. Or excuse me, we'll have a couple more keys that we'll be giving away Friday night for people that are going to be around. So if you want to play some Xera and you're driving in your car thinking, "Oh, damn it, I'm not listening live," that's fine. Show up Friday night around 7-8 o'clock Eastern, or join our Discord, and we'll be playing some Xera, which we haven't played in. It's been a hot minute since we've played Xera, so very much so looking forward to that. And we want to thank our friend Joshua for all his support of the program, and some more keys to give away here. It means a lot.
And then, do we want to just start doing the give or having people where they can submit for it at the time when we start the topic?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do it earlier in the show? We can just do it when we start talking about it.
Yeah, we'll start it whenever you think makes sense. Go for it.
Okay.
So I think that about covers all of our housekeeping things for this week's show. Let's talk about an event here. Not something that I've attended in the past, but I know is a very large gaming event, and that is BlizzCon. Now, E3 obviously canceled, GDC canceled. PAX still apparently on. Not that that's at least what we've heard thus far. But BlizzCon 2020 has been canceled. I believe does that take place in Austin or something like that? I thought it took place in somewhere like that, or maybe it's in LA or something.
I thought it was in California somewhere.
It probably is. So they have decided that they are going to not be holding.
Actually, it's Anaheim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's in Anaheim.
Yep. So they are not hosting BlizzCon for 2020. They've canceled that. I'm sure, like a lot of other things, they'll do some sort of virtual thing around.
Well, they said
that
early in the year. They said early next year, I think, they are going to do something online, which is kind of weird that they would wait 6 months from now to do something at 6 or 7 months. So we'll see. But that's what they hinted at in the article.
Not great, as we are looking towards PAX West. Still on as now,
from what we can tell.
They intend on having the show, so that is exciting, at least on our behalf. And it's Labor Day weekend, so it's pretty far away. But honestly, Brian, at this point, I would be surprised if PAX actually happens. Like literally every other event is canceled.
I know, but it's really hard to say that, because up to this point, it seems like everything's been a lot less than what they've been claiming. And, things are getting rolled back. I just can't imagine by the time we hit summer and everything, I have a feeling will seem fairly normal, that they'll still be like, oh, well, we're going to keep it canceled. Maybe they'll feel like they don't have enough time to prepare for it.
They do BlizzCon in November.
Yeah, that's why I can understand. And they have an expansion coming out, which is really strange that they canceled it right before the expansion releases.
Yeah. Now, if I had to from a logistics standpoint, setting up and then canceling a 40 or 50 or 60,000 person event is, I can't even begin to fathom the logistics of planning it. And then you have to try to cancel it. So in this case, since it's just a Blizzard only event, this makes a lot of sense. I can't, and obviously, California, who knows what their rules and regulations are going to be that far into the year, so I'm sure that's part of it as well. But unfortunate that that BlizzCon is canceled, and honestly, if PAX does happen, it will likely be the outside of PAX East, which took place in March before all of this stuff started, or right when it all began. 2 PAXs will be probably the only gaming events in the U.S. across the entire world. They canceled Gamescom in Germany. Yeah. So literally PAX will have had the only 2 gaming conventions in the year 2020, which, by the way, you may think, oh, it's just another year. We've got 2 brand new consoles coming out end of the year.
Yeah.
This is I'm going to say this is a historic year, but it is. I mean, the last Xbox and PlayStation came out in 2013. By the time these new systems come out, you're talking 8 years. This stuff just doesn't happen this isn't an every other year thing. This is a monumental year for gaming, with the new consoles and everything that's going on. So I've got my fingers crossed that PAX West will happen, but I'll tell you what, it might actually be great if it happens, because maybe a whole bunch of people won't go, and then we won't have to wake up.
It'll be like,
we'll have to wake up at the ass crack of dawn to get into a show with thousands of other people. So that will be rather interesting for PAX. But BlizzCon 2020 is in fact canceled. So another fallout of coronavirus.
Yes. All right. Do you have a preference of what we speak about next?
No, sir. Lead the ship here.
I wanted to talk about a couple games coming up. There's first of all, some trials of games, some free weekends, free weeks. And so Star Citizen, they announced that they're going to be doing where people can play for free for 11 days. And that's actually going on right now because it started 4 days ago.
Oh, cool.
So the 11 days is going on at this moment. And what they've done is they have a special launch that's happening. So the Invictus launch week is happening right now. And so it's a big event. They allow you to fly it for free. And actually there's a video. So I don't know if you want to play that. I don't think there's talking.
Okay. No, we'll play it. It's only a minute long.
So it's a minute long. So you can want to play that, but it's mostly just, actually, no, there is audio talking in it. So you should.
Okay, cool. Well, let's take a look at this. This is a Star Citizen trailer as we are in the midst of their 11-day free trial thing.
The time has come. To embark on another bold adventure. To face dangers, new and old. We feel your deeds far and wide.
Everybody with me? Let's give them a show.
And when you finally stand victorious, we will stand beside you, united in purpose.
Be inspired. What kind of BS is that? How about you be inspired? People gave you like $40 million to make a game. Be inspired. What the hell is that?
They're trying to inspire you to give them more money.
What a bunch of bullshit.
So that's happening right now.
Here's the thing. You know what I find so odd about game? Okay, I don't find it odd. This game has been talked about for so long. Are people really even interested in it? Now, obviously, there are people interested, but from a wide, view of people, are people actually interested in a game like Star Citizen anymore? It's been in development for 9 years or something like that.
Yeah. So here's how. Let me give you like the framework of what would make me interested in it.
Okay.
Because I follow it, but I don't look at every little detail of what they're trying to do to see what, oh, like that's the amazing thing I'm waiting for. If they can create a world that's so big and so diverse and so almost realistic to where it's kind of like, in a way, now WoW isn't those things, right? WoW isn't realistic, but WoW is big. And you just feel like you can just go and just do stuff and entertain yourself doing whatever. Like you can do PvP, you can go and you can go out and just do quests. You can do instances, dungeons. You can, there's just so many things. Like you just log in and be like, oh, what should I do? I can do anything. I want that feeling when I go into a game like Star Citizen that's had so much money to make everything you can imagine. I want it to where I would go in there and be like, do I want to go and like do space combat? Do I want to go and haul, kind of like what you would do in Elite Dangerous? Do I want to go haul freight and try to make some money? Do I want to go explore? I want it to be so big, yet so realistic when I get there that it felt like it was worth the trip. Like that, if they could make something like that, I would be like, okay, that's interesting. If it's just a thing where you fly around, it's pretty much a prettier, more advanced Elite Dangerous. That's not going to do it for me.
Yeah,
I mean, it needs to be more.
You
needs
just
to be
look
big.
It does, but in the same vein, Brian, what people want change. Especially in video games, there is the flavor of the month, and I'm not saying Star Citizen was or wasn't a flavor of the month, but people adapt. They move on. They grow. They are people. As Subdivisions pointed out, people have shelled out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for this game, of course. But the people that have shelled out those thousands of dollars 4, 5, 6 years ago, do they really even care at this point? Some of them were probably in their, imagine this, Brian. Some of them were probably in their mid to early 20s. They might have a wife and 3 kids now. They could care less about a game like Star Citizen. I mean, just think about, I just think about myself, Brian. How much my the kind of games that I'm interested in the case of a game like Star Citizen, your priorities change in a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
A 25-year-old that backed this in 2015, they're 30 now with 2 kids and a wife. Is Star Citizen, they care about Star Citizen anymore? But that's where they're going to have to make it. They're going to have to make it diverse, like WoW is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It needs to be to where it's not a one-trick pony, in that you can't have it to where when you log in, it's like, all right, well, I have to go and I have to fly this freight, and it's going to take me an hour to get there, and it's going to take me 45 minutes to do this, and 45 minutes to where you're like, oh, that's going to eat up. Just doing one thing is going to eat up my whole afternoon. It's got to be to where, I've got half an hour. Let's go do some PvP. But see, because you can do that in WoW. You can't do that in Elite Dangerous. Oh, and that's the big difference, is games like Elite Dangerous, games like Star Citizen, and Brian, I would say even for most people, for games like WoW, any MMO, you have to devote time to it. Like, this is the game I play. And that's fine and dandy. But when you backed it 5 years ago, I would be astonished to find out that somebody's priorities have not changed in those 5 years. And that's why I'm wondering is when this finally does get to a point, are people even going to care? Man, be like, I don't want to play some stupid space game anymore. Yeah. I mean, that's the tough thing, is it going on this long. They're going to struggle to keep, as you said, keep people's interest. The game is going to have to be so magnificent that people will flock to it. And this is a pretty tough game. First of all, the technology of it's going to require a pretty hefty computer. I don't know that it will be able to run. I mean, probably the new consoles it would be able to run on. I don't know about that. But I'm saying, but depending on how big the world, like depending on how they do it, like it may be questionable how big this is on console. And so that's the thing, is they're going to have to make something that is just so awe-inspiring that people flock to it. If it's lackluster at all, people are just going to drop it and move on. And it's going to be one of those things, kind of like No Man's Sky. I mean, how No Man's Sky was for you. Like, you were excited about No Man's Sky. It came out. You dropped it. You were like, all right, that's it. No more. The difference between No Man's Sky is that it came out, I bought it, and I didn't like it, right? It was a very quick thing. But I'm saying there's a bunch of people who pitch money into this. They're going to get it. And if it's not amazing, they're going to be like,
They're going to be like your feeling of No Man's Sky.
Well, I'm sure it will be amazing. I don't have a doubt that they're not going to make a great game, but at what point?
But is it going to be playable consistently? Is it going to be something that has a long-term playability? That's going to be the question. Is it something that is more than just, all right, I've done that a million times? Like Elite Dangerous is fun, but if you're looking for more than flying to another space station, or maybe trying to find missions where you can do a little bit of PvP or something, that isn't, I don't think that's going to be enough. Like this has to have to where it's just huge and it feels huge and it feels like it was worth the amount of money that they tossed into this.
I'll be the first to admit I am not very well versed on Star Citizen. I'll be the first one to admit it. Is the game out? Like, can you play the features of the whole game? Because I don't know. I don't know a single person that talks about Star Citizen. Literally.
Yeah.
And I know a bunch of people that have
I think it's only sections of it.
But I don't know. I mean, and that is a problem because there's been so much bad press, so much bad PR. I don't even know.
I'm looking up how much of Star Citizen is playable. And that's what I'm kind of curious about. Like, and this is people like last year discussing this.
That's what I don't know. It's like, what?
And that's the thing is I don't see anything that's like, oh, here do you have all these, like these planets. And I don't hear anyone talk about that. I hear about, oh, I can fly around in a ship. That's all I hear about.
Well, I don't even hear that. I heard that maybe 2 years ago. I don't hear anything now. Brian, I can literally not tell you the last time that somebody's talked to me outside of Star Citizen. And you and I both have mutual friends that years ago bought into Star Citizen. They've got the ID badge and everything from the Kickstarter, all in. I've been talking to that guy every day for the past 8 weeks. I haven't heard a damn thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's people saying that it's still bare bones. It's very buggy, still in development. There's a few gameplay loops and other stuff you can do. So it's pretty much, it sounds like they've came up with a few gameplay loops that you can play through.
Yeah.
They've talked about the free fly event, try it out, see if you like it, but it's mostly, there's a couple things you can do. And then that's what you're going to keep on doing. There's tutorials, things like that.
I mean, it's free, but I wonder,
for right now. I mean, for those 11 days. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to waste my time.
Get in there. I mean, that's the thing. I remember the first time I tried to do it, it was so slow. I mean, now I have a better video card and things. Yeah. Firebomb says that it's this generation's Duke Nukem Forever. So
I don't even get that reference, but okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be released. So we'll see.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But
good one.
I think we'll just have to see. I might download and install it and
I'm
just
not gonna waste my time
because I tried to do it the first time, but all you could do is fly around the hangar. It was so laggy. I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah,
but I'll try. I'll try it for the sake of the show.
I have no interest. I don't know anybody that has any interest. That's what I'm saying. Well,
it's something you keep hearing about, but I don't know anybody who's like, oh, I play it every day.
Yeah, but I don't, the only person I hear about it, Brian, is you, because you bring it up on the show. I don't hear anybody else that actually plays it talk about it, or has played it, or is playing it, or wants to play it. And we've got a pretty diverse group of people in our Discord that play a whole bunch of things. And I know for a fact there are multiple individuals in there that have already backed Star Citizen and want to play Star Citizen. I don't hear jack squat from them.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's not good. When you're building the biggest game that has ever been, and you've raised the copious amounts of money that they have, I have a hard time with that. There's a conversation going on in the chat about Grand Theft Auto and stuff. Everybody knows about Grand Theft Auto. People still talk about Grand Theft Auto. Like, there's a big difference between those two games.
But what they're saying is they've had multiple releases. They have multiple releases of a giant game, one of the biggest games, that's been made. And you turn around, and they're still developing this one very buggy, limited amount of gameplay in that same amount of time.
Yeah. And the big difference is it's a cultural thing. Grand Theft Auto is a cultural thing at this point. It is. It's part of pop culture.
They release a playable game, and they're releasing
not a playable game, a finished game.
Yeah, that releases however many years they have a new one. This one, during all that time, has had nothing really to show for it. And I think that's part of the issue is when you go through and when this game starts to be played, like I don't hear anybody saying, oh, have you looked at the most recent releases that they've been doing for Star Citizen and how amazing ... is?
Never heard that.
Never heard it.
Things people don't say.
Yeah, and so that's my worry is that they keep talking and showing clips of, oh, look at all this groundbreaking stuff we're doing. I've not had one person say, dude, you really need to check this out. You need to see this. I've not heard it yet. That's my concern.
Not me IRL, Brian.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. I'm not saying it's a bad game, and I'm admitting my ignorance, but I just don't I don't have anything else to base it on. And again, my sample size is a small group of individuals. I get it, but I think I would have heard something.
Yeah. And that's why I'm going to go on there and at least install this and try it. Okay. Just so I have a reference of like, is there anything to even care about on this? Because that's what I want to see. You know me, I like space flying games.
Oh, yeah, you're all in.
I love Elite Dangerous. I've enjoyed some of the other ones, even No Man's Sky. And if I can find one that's just, because for me, I'm all about I want to have that immersion effect where when I get there, I'm like, oh, dude, this landscape I just landed on is so amazing. I want to go discover it. I want to go see what little things they've hidden here. If it's anything like that, that would be cool. But I just don't see it. I don't know that it's going to happen.
I want to thank our friend Spaceship Donnie for hitting us up with the 5-month resub sub with the Detective Brian emoji. Thank you very much, Donnie. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, maybe he's going to be playing some Star Citizen. Spaceship Donnie, even though I know he's not a fan of it. So free weekend. It's going on until June 1st, so you have till next Monday to jump in on it. And yeah, I mean, if you're curious about it, jump on it. I'm not curious about it, so I'm as I said, I'm over it. So, Brian, I'm gonna play through Brian. He's gonna be.
I'll play it. I'll let you know how it is. Maybe I'll do some recording if
he'll be my heart and soul in Elite Dangerous. Excuse me.
Well, and one thing that they're talking about in chat is like you don't get public. Like it seems like there's very few polished release games. Even some of the ones that have been polished up into this point. Like last year, I'm trying to remember what one. There was a game that came out. What's the one where in New York City we played it and they had the Dark Zone.
Tom Clancy's Division.
Division 2 was when they released it. It was highly unfinished. Do you remember that?
Oh my god, it was a disaster.
That was and so it's like now they're even releasing ones that aren't alpha and beta. They don't have those things finished a week before launch. We were running through there and they had so many placeholder assets. This is a week before launch. We were doing the test. They had placeholder assets a week before launch. How do they burn the discs to ship them?
No, that's why your day one patch is 14 gigabytes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the map is not even near finished. And it's like a week before. And it's like they're just swapping out. That lets you know that they did not polish it. Because you're not swapping out placeholder assets and then polishing it in a week. I was just surprised.
I want to do this. I want to come back. I want to get through our news because we haven't done that the past couple weeks. I do want to come back to this conversation because I don't think we've had it in quite some time. So if time allows at the end, I want to come back to this because there was a whole conversation that, well, honestly, we could do a whole show about the current state of gaming. And we might in the future. Who knows? Maybe we'll take a week off and do a Black and Evergreen show. Who knows? I don't know. So I want to put a pin in that for now so we can get to all this other stuff.
Because as you said, we could talk about for the next hour.
2 hours later. Well, there's the show. Yeah. We covered one story. Have a great week.
Topic. So yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll see what kind of time we have. If not, we'll maybe roll it into a future show that maybe a lighter news week or something, or we could do a longer post show on a day. Yeah. Whatever. We'll see.
So May 22nd through June 1st, check it out. RobertSpaceIndustries.com. And boy, we got to thank
our sub train going here.
We do have a sub train going. We want to thank, as we did earlier, our friend Spaceship Donnie for hitting us up with the resubscription. We want to also thank our friend Johnny Find with the Lockdown 2020 24-month resubscription. And then just hitting us up right now is our friend Firebomb. Says, hitting my favorite boys up for another month. Thanks for all the content. Firebomb, thank you, my man. It means a lot.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. And almost everybody in this chat has been a long-term member of our community. We love you guys. So
That's true.
So thanks, guys. It is true. We greatly appreciate it. So, all right, that is
Okay.
RSI,
Star Citizen.
Yep.
So another thing that's happening, and I just wanted to mainly mention this because I found it to be a very fun game. But the Mafia series, they have Mafia 1, 2, and 3, and they've released. They're actually pretty fun. So
they're on rails. Are they on rails?
I mean, it's a semi-open world, right? So you can drive around and you can do various things, but you're on a specific quest line. So you could go and do some other things. You don't have to go to your next objective immediately. You could do some other things. So it's not 100% on rails.
But you can go straight to your next objective. Like you can just go from objective to objective and get the full.
Yeah, you could just do the quest and and make it be like something on rails. But you have the ability to go and maybe find different cars and do kind of run around the town and do whatever you want.
Yeah,
so, but it is it's less on rails than a lot of the PlayStation games.
I do like the Mob series. Like I'm a big fan of the TV show Sopranos and some of those 90s and 80s.
I really enjoyed this one.
Movies.
Mafia 3 probably a little bit less. But I still played through the whole thing. It was still fun. But this one, they've gone through and done the definitive editions. And actually, there's a trailer for this. I think it's like a 4-minute trailer, but it covers all 3 of the Mafias. And so you'll be able to see clips of the enhanced graphics and things and this is free. So this definitive edition, if you already have, and you may have this on your PlayStation because they did give away Mafia 3 as a PS Plus.
Yeah,
you maybe redeem that. Okay,
my PlayStation is currently
have it already
in a box.
yeah, because that when it came out was about the time you were moving and everything, so that could be very possible that happened.
I must have lost my PlayStation.
Did you during the move or
no? I brought it to a friend's house a couple weeks ago, and somehow there was some activities that went on, and I almost lost my PlayStation.
Nice.
Yeah.
So on this, if you have any of these, you get the definitive edition for free. So this is like a free upgrade to the existing one. So if you want to play the trailer, I think it's 4 minutes, but it'll give people a pretty good idea, and it'll give you a good idea of what the graphics are like and kind of what the game's about.
All right, let's take a look here at the Mafia trailer.
Everything I've done, both good and bad, I've done for my family.
Hey, what's it do ya?
You remember the wise guys we used to see when we was kids?
Yeah, why?
The guy we're meeting here is one of them. I think he's got something big for us.
Boom, 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 boom. You pull this off, I won't forget it. Trust me.
I'm gonna shoot you right down. Right off of your feet.
Not too many guys got the stomach for this line of work. We need guys like you.
Take you home with me. Put you in my house.
I give you our new friend, Vito Scaletta.
Hey.
Oh, baby. I love
What's interesting now is pretty much Mafia 1.
Okay. What did you say about Mafia 1?
I'm saying that what you're seeing right now, I think, is Mafia 1, if I remember.
Gotcha.
Fucking the first one.
Shake it, baby. Shake it, baby. One time.
About time you showed up.
These guys ain't cops.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
You said it.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on home to me, baby.
You want to stop it there, or do you want to play these other two?
I mean, it's really up to you.
Okay,
These ones are probably a little bit better graphics.
Yeah, let's watch these.
So they think this one's Mafia 2 or Mafia 3. I'm trying to remember. They just don't know if they're showing it before. Right? This is Mafia 3.
Gotcha.
police continue to search the French ward for at least 4 men believed to be involved in the robbing of the Federal Reserve.
We could have a lot of fun.
There's gonna be a lot of heat coming down off of what we've done tonight.
You need to relax, Sal.
Hey, we're gonna pull this off. There's my boy. Look like you could use a drink. Want to get changed? We need to get ourselves over to Sammy's, collect our cut of that money. And George, there's one more thing we need to do.
This isn't just money. It's freedom.
I need you with me on this.
I'm with you, Pop.
You mind pouring one more of those? Couldn't pull it off without you, Sammy.
Ooh. Watching that, Brian, you know what I want to do right now? I want to pour myself a drink, go to the gas station, buy a pack of cigarettes, and just sit here with a tank top on and eating some cold deli meats out of the fridge. That's what I want to do. That's all I want my life to consist of right about now.
Now,
those are fun. I'm going to play those. So are those on PC or only on PlayStation?
Yeah, they have it. They have it on console, PC. So whatever you have it on, or I would make see if you have any. Game, I played it on console. Number 3, I played on console, and the controls work very well for console. So, it may be worth just playing on console. I played the first 2 on PC and the last one on console.
So, Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, I'll get all of the games, you're saying, for that price?
I know they have a definitive Mafia Definitive, which has all 3. So you just need to make sure that that's the one you're getting.
Mafia 3
has all 3 titles.
Okay. I'll have to look into this. Yeah, I should play this.
But the first one, so that you had asked if it's on rails. Firebomb's asking, can you jump into Mafia 3 without playing the first 2? Yes, they're different stories.
Really?
As far
That's
as
cool.
number 2 versus 3. 3 is in a whole different location. It's not in New York. It's down south in Louisiana, and it's a different person's story. So you can go through and play it all by itself. If you buy the non-definitive edition, then it automatically upgrades to the definitive edition. So anyone who owns it can get it on the definitive edition. It's just like a re-release.
Okay, but all right. So I got to figure this out. I don't know what version I need to buy. You know what? This actually might be a good thing to do. This might be a good thing for like eBay, because I can get the disc probably for nothing.
Yeah, and then
the first Mafia came out.
I'm wondering if they let you. I wonder how they treat that though.
No, I'm not saying getting the definitive edition, but like the first Mafia came out on the Xbox 360, right?
Yeah,
and PS3. So how do you play that on the PS4? Have they digitally done
this one remastered? It's on there, yeah. So you can. I think you can play with it.
I see. I gotcha. Okay.
So maybe you couldn't play it originally on console. I'm wondering.
It was an
consoles.
Xbox game. Oh,
but I'm saying I wonder if you couldn't play it on PS4 or on Xbox One, and if this definitive edition brings those early ones up to the current consoles. I'd have to look.
I'm confused. We'll figure it out.
But it is a very fun game. As you saw, now it's not on rails because I can go and like you know how there's they'll have quests where you go out and clear out this building. You pretty much you'll like clear out a warehouse, and then it's your warehouse and you make money from it and different things like that. They have a lot of those things across the whole map. So like that's all side stuff you can do. It's not a set story, but you're continuing through the story as well.
Okay, so I'm reading on Steam. So what happens is if you buy Mafia 3, the definitive edition, if you buy Mafia 2, the definitive edition, you get Mafia 2, the original with it, which is not Mafia 1. It's just the original Mafia 2, which is odd. It looks like the trilogy is $60 on Steam.
And that comes with
Mafia,
that, yeah.
the Definitive Edition, which is the original one, then Mafia 2, the Definitive Edition, and then Mafia 3, the Definitive Edition. So they're all, it looks like they're all about $30 a piece.
Okay. Or all three for 60.
Yeah, something.
So you said.
Okay. Well, and by the way, Mafia Definitive Edition is not out until I don't know what's going. It's too complicated. It's not out yet. It's not.
That must have been why they didn't. That must have been why they didn't show the first one in that trailer.
Maybe.
Because remember, I said I think this is 1, but then it was 2. So they did 2 and 3 were the video clips of that trailer.
Interesting. So I'm gonna check out a Mafia game. I don't want some way or another. I will. I'm gonna play through this. So cool. Good stuff there, Brian. Thanks.
Very good. All right. So let's. Yeah. What are you ready to?
Let's talk about Doom quickly. We covered it in extreme detail last week. I got some but I will play a PH just to spite you. I got some Discord messages from some people that didn't think I was giving this a fair shake. Hey, it is what it is, right? It's my opinion. You have yours, I have mine. But they are now ditching the Denuvo or whatever it's called anti-cheat in their next update. So obviously the backlash worked. The outrage worked. Right or wrong is unknown. I don't think we'll ever know, but it's going to be gone. So props to Bethesda for getting rid of it. So for everybody, this should be the end of it. And as Pete said, the people won. Absolutely. Right or wrong, the people won. And I think that people need to give serious props to Bethesda for that. I'm sure they had to breach their contract with the anti-cheat company. I'm sure they lost a bunch of money over this.
Yeah, I'm sure their contract, they probably still have a hefty amount they have to pay.
Yeah. They do that. They all the time that they spent developing to put that into there is all gone. I mean, this wasn't just this is not an on-off switch. I mean, this is a serious thing that takes a while to implement. So, I'm no Bethesda fanboy by any stretch of the imagination. If you've listened to this show for any period of time, you know that's the case. But got to give them credit where credit's due.
Yep.
People were pissed, and for right or wrong, they bowed the knee to it.
So we'll see going forward. Denuvo. I mean, if this keeps happening to them and keep having these outrage things, I'm assuming Denuvo will probably just change their name eventually to something else and be like, do like a silent thing where they start implementing it and people are less likely to see it.
Exactly. Brian, let's talk about a game that we've been trying to talk about for about 3 weeks now. It's called Surviving the Aftermath. And you put this in the notes a couple of weeks ago. We don't see many new survival games coming out. Do you want to give us a little setup here before we show the trailer on what this? Obviously, it's something Aftermath. It's got to be some post-apocalyptic something. But what exactly is it?
So this is one where they're going through, and of course, as you said, post-apocalyptic, and you're supposed to build a colony. So your goal is to get a colony going and kind of rebuild civilization. They have the Aftermath game, and they have a Founders DLC as well that you can get. But it's pretty much going through kind of a semi-overhead view city builder where you're trying to make something that produces for the colony, where you're building up leaders in the colony, and it's just kind of, it takes you through a story. And it seemed very interesting. A little bit different than what we usually cover, but I know we have a number of people that listen to the podcast that are really into these types of games, and I figured it'd be an interesting one for people to see.
All right, let's take a look at the trailer for Surviving the Aftermath.
Peggy 7.
When everything fell apart, we had to start from scratch. Something to eat, water, a roof over our kids' heads. You start to think Maybe we can make things right again. Here, we decide how things should be. If we don't, someone else will.
Well, that is not exactly what I was expecting, Brian. It's kind of like an early Sim City builder by the looks of it, but not voxel based, but it's like a 3D city manager kind of. But then it also looks like it's got a Civ element to it. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to mute myself during videos. So that's something. Yeah, it's kind of a. It's not a 3D. They have another term for it. It's like it's a special term for
ISO something is what it's called. Not isopropyl
so
alcohol, but something isospheric, I think is what it's called. Something like that.
I don't remember.
Isometric. Thank you, Head Neophyte.
And Saul, actually, thank you for the 27 months in a row. I think that's
did you see his
one
comment?
of our highest? Yeah, early access Epic Games Store exclusive. Infection paid cast. Thank you very much. But this is one that I actually got in the Epic Store, and so I'm going to be playing it. So I figured I just could kind of show people because it seems very interesting, and it's more of the type of game that Saul likes. Yeah, isometric. There you go, Saul. Third person isometric, but it's kind of that story where you have to go through and build up resources, and you try to make it to where it's self-sufficient. I'm sure you get attacks from outside colonies, things like that. So it seemed pretty interesting. It's not one that we've talked about, but it is available, and it's a survival game.
This looks neat.
It's different. I mean, it's different than most of the ones we've seen.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is it's a survival game, but it's not really. It seems more like a world builder. But have you played it yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't played it yet. I'm going to be playing it. I was wondering if anyone else. It's not really. I don't think it's a multiplayer, but I was going to start playing it, so I wanted to tell people, maybe they'd be interested in trying it too.
Yeah, it's on sale right now. It's 20% off. It's $15.99 on the Epic Games Store. Not a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's called Surviving the Aftermath.
I don't know how to wrap my head around this one. This is very interesting.
Yeah, and one thing that's different about it is like you have to make moral choices, and those decisions that you make affect the colony and
that's
situations that happen from it.
To it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got those pieces of it. There's 46 different specialties of characters, like people that you recruit to join your colony. There's 46 currently variations of that. That will help affect like what kind of buildings you can make and what you can do. There's 50 unique building types, that do different type of resources, farming, security, all kinds of things like that. They also have mods. So people are making mods for it, so you can customize it as well, which I haven't really seen, on a lot of games lately. It seems really interesting. I want to start playing it, so I was like, I think people might be interested in see it. It doesn't require a crazy machine to run it too.
Yeah, which is pretty typical. So I'm just looking at their so it's on the Epic Games Store. It's also on Xbox Game Preview. It is on Steam, but it's just not available yet. It's coming soon, so I'm sure that's
it's coming soon. So this is going to be on Steam. Yep. And it is, if you have the Game Pass, it's on there, if I remember correctly. So you could try it out on the Xbox Game Pass, which probably would let you install it for PC if it's allowed. I don't know if they allow that yet. Probably when they release it on Steam, they'll also allow PC installs on the Game Pass.
This is super interesting. I don't think I'd spend $15 on it. I think I'd spend $10 though, because I'm not really sure I'd really play it.
How much you would play it? Yeah.
Yeah. You got me good on this one, Brian. I don't really know how to. This is an interesting.
And there's different.
Because I do like those games. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's different zones, so it's not just your little areas. Like you travel to other zones, you start trade with other areas. I mean, there's a lot to it. So yeah, it seems like it's a lot of fun. But people just have to play it and see if they find it interesting.
Yeah, I don't. If you listen to this show, you'd probably think, "Oh, this isn't your kind of game." But I do like Civilization and those kinds of games. I find them rather interesting.
And I know that about you. So I figured maybe this would kind of it touches on the survival aspect, which you enjoy, but it brings in a lot of other things to it too. So.
I'm not saying the game isn't worth 15 because it probably is, but for me, it's not worth 15
because you're not. Yeah,
I don't think
you don't play these all the time.
Exactly. So I'm not saying you shouldn't get it. I'm just telling you my personal opinion. Head Neophyte seems to kind of have the same thing. What I saw, maybe 10. Yeah, it seems like a good sale price, $10. But it's a new. It's it's a relatively new game, and they're trying to make some money.
Saul points out that this is from the same makers as Surviving Mars, and so this is their Surviving series. So they have Surviving Mars, Surviving Aftermath. They'll probably have some other Survivor thing too.
So that's interesting, Brian. The link will be in the show notes on our website, infectionpodcast.com, or you can just search for Surviving the Aftermath on the Epic Game Store, and it's on sale for the next almost 3 weeks for $15.99, so $16 in the US.
And they just put out their seventh update for this, and that's on PC and Xbox.
What does that
I don't think it's on. So on here, I'll just give you some general things here. Hostile colonists can now turn hostile against each other. If their happiness gets too low, survivor groups can sometimes contain hostile colonists. You can have colonist guards. Community requested they have malnutrition in there, depending on what you eat. So they have malnutrition they've added. They did 16 new events in the game. New weapon resource types. Let's see. Gameplay. The sandworm is changed to do ranged attacks instead of melee attacks. So there's some sort of event that happens with that. They updated some things with the graphics and then did some balancing. So, but they had for each of these things, like they have 4 different things for the guard patrols and what those do. They have a number of things having to do with malnutrition that they've added in there. They have 4 different things having to do with the events. So there's a bunch of things listed under each of those, but those are generally the categories of what's happened.
Interesting. Good little find there, Brian. I appreciate that.
Yep. So that hopefully, yep. Yeah, that's one I've been putting on the notes for a couple weeks now. So, now another game, there's one that's kind of a similar overhead view, and that's Factorio.
Okay.
Now Factorio, I have said that I refuse to buy until it goes on sale.
That's why I love Factorio. That our deep-seated love for each other is specifically based around our unwillingness to pay these SOBs at Factorio full retail price. And I appreciate you for that. And
they have said, same thing with my Daisy, I had a cut number. When it hit that point, I would buy it, and I did. With Factorio, if they ever put it on sale, because it used to be a certain price, and then after they released, they said we're never lowering the price of our game.
That's stupid.
We'll see who wins first.
I'm winning. So, I've got more money in my pocket. I'm winning
because you didn't. I'm sure it's a great game. Saul loves this game. GTA. They paid G2A. Sorry, not GTA. G2A, who they sell it's a key reseller site. Paid Factorio nearly $40,000 over the sale of illegitimate keys of Factorio. Now, I think this is the only company, because they had this offer. So G2A, because of some things that happened, they said, we'll do chargebacks, and they offered to refund money to people. This is the only studio that took G2A up on this. So G2A is coming under a lot of scrutiny because a lot of these keys, they can be pirated keys, they can be all kinds of things that cause these keys to come to existence. But this is one where there's a lot of keys that weren't supposed to be being sold on this. They were, and so this is the one where so far they've paid money to one of the actual developers.
I don't know how these sites work. Like, you look at, obviously gaming is one thing, but you look at, like Brian, there's a site where you can buy copies of Windows 10 for like $1.89. and it's a totally legitimate copy of Windows that gets activated. These sites have always had, because if you remember back in the day when G2A first kind of started, when G2A first started sponsoring streamers is when I first, and I think a lot of other people first started hearing about them. They always had this weird thing. People thought they've always had this weird shadow cast over them. And I've purchased a bunch of stuff off G2A, but these have never been like, oh, these are the most reputable people. No, it's always been a little shady, even though it's not. And in most cases, it's not. It's just, it's always had a weird sense. They weren't supposed to be selling these
keys. So that, like, PH is bringing up, what do you mean by pirated keys? These are keys that are being used against the license terms.
Yeah,
I guess. And so they're not supposed to be doing this. So they got reimbursed for $39,600 for the sale of 198 illegitimate keys through the license, through the marketplace. They weren't supposed to do. So,
well, I mean, G2A. It's not like Factorio sued G2A. They offered this to anybody. They said that we'll give you 10 times the cost. So this seems like a win-win. Factorio throw a couple grand in their pockets. G2A can kind of save, if nothing else, Brian, what they've really, honestly, this is a very good legal way for them to, if they were ever taken to court, say, hey, look at this. We
offered refunds.
We have offered to be, so this might be the best $40,000 they could have ever spent, because if they do actually get taken to task on something like this.
And this is a limited time offer that they've done. So they're not, this isn't an open-ended, anytime there's piracy, they're saying for a limited amount of time, if they're going to pay, so they vowed back, so this is, let's see, they updated it on the 20th. I'm trying to see when this article originally came out. So originally, it was last year, around July, I think. And they said that they vowed to pay devs 10 times the money proven to be lost on chargebacks.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming probably what they're doing is they have these keys where they were purchased, they were canceled. Somehow they're supposed to be reimbursed, not be used, and then were probably used. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, this is a win-win for sure. So interesting stuff. Interesting article over there on about G2A and Factorio, which I will likely never own. So there you go. It's let's see, we're about an hour into the show, Brian. So this might be a good time to open up our game giveaway and talk about a game that we have highlighted many times on this program, and that is Xera, Xera, Xera Survival. And they've got a pretty big update out here for their season 2. And we are playing that this Friday night on our in our Discord for our Infection Game of the Week, which we haven't done in quite some time. So let's go over this. This is a major content update. This is probably, and you can disagree with me after this if you want, Brian. This is probably the largest update they've done since the game came out. This is a huge thing. And by the way, if you don't win a copy of the game, it is only $7.99 right now. It is at an incredibly deep discount.
Yep, 60% off. 60% off at the moment.
This is a pretty good buy for $8. Even if you only play it for a weekend, that's not terrible. So let's take a look at a couple of things here. Some of the big developer notes here. Game user interface overhaul. I'm gonna read a decent chunk of this because I think it's important. We felt that the game's UI was getting quite dated. I would tend to agree. It has done wonders for the duration of our alpha and early access, but we felt an additional polish would be required moving forward. This will be one of the main changes you'll notice in Season 2. They've gone through and pretty much updated all the game's UIs, new fonts, colors, QOL things on the HUD and everything like that. So that's working out really well. They've also adjusted the rate of hunger for stats for the characters. It will now drain faster. We hope this will change players, and they need to watch it more closely as they move into areas. So this is trying to force people to not, kind of just wander around aimlessly. This is something that these games have an issue with if there's not a set objective. 7 Days to Die does this really well. You're constantly running out of food and water, and it makes you change the way that you play the game or you stop doing a mission so you can go and get more food and water and then come back, and it just adds some different things there that is that is pretty cool. So they're working on things like that. Loot and loot tables. We talked about this in the past as well. They've made major changes to the loot table, making mid and high tier gear less accessible. So that will be good for people that were willing to put some time in. They've also introduced a new container interaction system, which will help us fill the world with more loot and create new mechanics. Now, you remember beforehand, loot was pretty much only found on the ground or on a shelf. Yeah. It was not there. Now there were little crates throughout the map that were locked, I believe, but
yeah, you had to find the keys for them.
But there were no containers like drawers.
Yeah, you weren't going into
cabinets.
Building and opening drawers or
Exactly. So they've added that in there. It will allow you, you can now a bunch of objects will be interactable, which is pretty standard for a survival game. And they've also reduced the amount of items that spawn at the legacy spawn points. Doing this also helps balance the loot. So they've gotten rid of spawn points for individual items on the map, but then since they've added the container system, those items will be filtered into the container loot table. So there'll be less ground loot, but a similar, if not more loot, because of the containers and items now being able to be stored inside of objects. Some currency and vendor changes. This is a pretty big one. They've dramatically changed and reduced the buyback rates for all items in the game. We felt that it was very easy for a player to gain a few high-tier weapons, sell them to a trader, and gain a lot of currency. This allowed players to be able to stack their stash potentially with enough gear to last an entire season. This change will hopefully assist with the overall goal of Season 2. This is huge. This is something that Escape from Tarkov has done very well. No matter how, obviously it gets to a point, but for the most part, you're kind of broke the entire time. And that causes you to have to come back and play day after day after day after day, and that's why the losses are so brutal. This game didn't really have that. You could get, as that said, you could find some stuff in World, sell it, get so much money that you could just buy whatever you wanted. There was no reason to even loot after that. So that
I want to point out one thing with the loot tables. Talking about having actual containers. Mm-hmm. One big thing that this does is help mitigate the cheating. If you look at people that are using cheats to be able to see objects, they have something that's labeling like this object is 100 meters away, and they pinpoint it on the screen for cheaters. That type of a system is very easy to do when you have open world loot like what you had, where you have objects on the ground, because for you to be able to see that object, it has to broadcast to you for any point where you could possibly see it. This object is here at this exact point. When you're looting containers, it doesn't have to. It doesn't broadcast to the world you could see that there is a lootable container, but you can't see what's in that container. So it really cuts down on, PH points out, it's ESP. It cuts down a lot on the ESP of being able to see, hey, 100 meters this direction, there's this weapon. Because until you go to the server and interact with that container, you may not know what is in there. So it's impossible for the ESP to take effect until it's interacted with.
Yeah. So that's cool. And yeah, that's a huge change as well.
Yeah, but it'll help a lot.
Weapon, armor, and condition changes. They've introduced a condition system that allows us to ultimately tier gear under the hood. For example, a brand new weapon will deal full base damage, whereas a more worn weapon will deal less damage. You're familiar with how those systems work. So this is, again, adding a reason to continue to loot. That was, in my opinion, the biggest problem with Xera was you just get a little bit of loot and you're like, all right, now what? Now there's at least a couple of more things in all of these sections that are, oh, now I'm going to go do this. Now I'm going to go do this. Now I'm going to go do this. And these time sinks that Brian, you've talked about so extensively on this show. So that is that's very cool that they've added that stuff. The AI/humanoids, which are their equivalent to zombies, are these like AI mech things that attack you. Some of them just come up and beat you. Some of them are like ticking time bombs. They'll run up to you and explode. There's other ones that like jump 1,000 feet in the air and like do like a Falcon punch thing when they land on you, which is weird. So they've done some tweaks to that system. The first thing is that you can now stun them without them dealing damage to you. That was one of the things, is you had to master that WS kind of movement so you could get the hit in and then back up in time. So now when you hit them, it's actually going to stun them, meaning they won't deal damage to you right away. This is obviously good for melee weapons. They've also made some changes to the melee system as well in order to make fighting robots more responsive. This is big. The changes are mostly in first person, so we recommend using first person when fighting robots with melee, as it is more accurate. I think that's always been the case, right? Even in games like H1Z, when you would always switch to first person when you were in a gunfight, because it was just, it makes more sense to shoot. It's more accurate somehow. I don't know how, but it is.
And I really like the double right click systems where you can be in third person. It automatically switches you. That's one thing. I don't remember what game did that recently, but that kind of a system where you double right click for me, and so you can quickly jump into that first person, is one thing I really like.
Yeah. Throwables. Carry out another pass on the throwable system. We've added some new animations when you're cooking a grenade. Fixed a lot of bugs in this season. We've introduced a new throwable. My favorite, Brian, a Mazel Tov cocktail. As they've added in here.
Memories.
We have some more throwables in the works, possibly as an EMP grenade, which would ideally cause any red dot sights or electronics or helmets or anything that's got a battery or some sort of circuitry in it to stop functioning. So they've got the Molotov cocktail is now in there as well. They've introduced some new buildings. They've reworked existing buildings as well as changes to various areas throughout the map. We've extensively placed interactable cabinets through buildings all over the world, and they will be adding more of those over time. They're working through their older assets as well, replacing them. Brian, this is a big one for you. They're taking their older assets, which a lot of them were purchased from the store, and they're now changing them to made in-house by their artist, which is something that we've, for some reason, there's this big controversy with store-bought assets, but the whole reason for that is for what we just described. You can get your game off the ground. It is incredibly expensive to hire artists, and frankly, in the beginning of the game, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The key is
because you're more proving whether or not it's playable. Is it fun? Yep. That's the problem we ran into is looking at PUBG, for example. PUBG still has, every time I see it, it just drives me crazy. They still have, and you can still go buy this, but who's going to use it in their game really anymore? But they have all the original, like for the med kits and the bullet, the bullet boxes. All of those are still from an asset pack. Why didn't they buy the rights to it from that guy? You're putting it in a game that's making millions and millions and millions of dollars, but you paid the guy who made the asset for you $5, and no one else can use it anymore. Without being ridiculed as copying PUBG. You pretty much made that asset unpurchasable, yet you're not willing to go and buy it out from him. That is just disgusting to me. It frustrates me, and I don't understand. They shouldn't do it. I mean, if you have something that breaks out and is one of the top games in its genre, and you have purchased assets, either swap them out or buy the rights to them. Make it to where you're the only game having those, because that's what a AAA studio would do. Yeah. And when you've sold millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of copies, then treat yourself like a AAA studio. They're not an indie studio. They are not.
Yeah.
So that's the frustrating thing.
So Xera is taking the right approach with this, and they've got more artists in-house now, and they're going through and remaking assets, including buildings, props, items, you name it. If it was a store-bought asset, they're trying to go through and do that. And they're going to continue to do that for this and for the new map that they're working on as well. They've also made some tweaks to the lighting in game, which lighting was kind of rough, including upgrading the sky system, which is pretty much what lights the entire world. Some post-processing effects to give the game an extra polished pass. Awesome. Unfortunately, there are still some FPS problems with the new sky system, which occurred during dusk and dawn. We hope to iron those out throughout the next few weeks. And then they've also introduced the Steam trading card system that will, the trading cards will be dropped every 2 hours of gameplay, up to 3 cards. So you'll be able to get that as well and work through that system.
And I got 3 of those so far. Like, so they're handing those out. Like, I got 3 notifications about those on mine.
Nice. So that's great. And it's 2 hours of gameplay you have in the game. So that's how they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then through this, they've got their entire patch note system, which is a lot, but I think we did a pretty good job hitting on the kind of the bullet points there. Another one I'll talk about is you can now store items in the ATV, so it's you could use it as a bit of a looting machine. Portable storage. This is a big update, Brian. This is by far the biggest update since the game's come out. I mean, unless I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
I think for things that are game changing as far as the UI and just visible changes, probably yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some updates that fix a lot of things in the background that you wouldn't notice, but this is a lot of things that are front facing that you would notice right away.
Absolutely. The biggest thing, of course, is going to be the UI. So that's the big update. That's season 2. That's what we're playing Friday night. But then there was also a quick hotfix that came out yesterday. A couple things here. Increased server auto reboots to every 24 hours. So it was 12. The server's rebooting every 12 hours. They obviously is stable enough that they're just rebooting them once every day, which is great. That means the servers are nice and stable. Weapon condition damage sales cap reduced to 20%, was 50. So now you will, let's see, weapon condition damage scale cap reduced to 20. What is that trying to say? Damage
maybe your weapon condition can only be damaged 20%. Rather than being 50% damage and probably losing 50% of the stats.
Gotcha. I see. That makes sense. Armor conditioning. They fixed an issue that allowed conditions of armors to be reduced while in the safe settlement. So if you were getting shot, people would just shoot you in the safe settlement area. It would actually do damage to your armor. So they got that dealt with as well. Vehicles implemented a fix to that may make the ATV rolling bug fix. It was rolling backwards. A couple of other user interface changes as well. Cool stuff. I'm very excited for this.
Yep. So we'll play this on Friday, and then we'll be giving away. If you don't get a key today, we'll be giving away more keys on Friday. Yep. So come jump in the stream. We'll roll probably early on in it, so that people that are there will have an opportunity to get into the game and play with us right away. So
yeah. Yep. So there you go. That is
Xera. So yeah, and if you're interested, ! giveaway, do that in chat before the end of the show, and then we'll roll for a number of those at the very end.
Yes, sir. And also, if you don't have a chance to get a free key, it is only $7.99 until next Tuesday. So really, really good price on it. What I think is a pretty quality game. So thanks to Joshua and his team for their support of our show. They've been super nice to us, which we appreciate.
Yep. Thank you. All right. So. Let's talk a little more general news. Okay. There's been some malware going around that's actually been affecting game developers. So there's an image I put on there that kind of shows how it works. And I put that in the notes just, if anyone's interested in seeing how it actually operates and what it's doing. So this is running through. It uses the print spooler to load a DLL. And then that decrypts and loads this virus, and then is able to interact and run commands and become pretty much a command and communication command bot. So this is what's been going around. Yes.
More like wind blows. Am I right?
Pretty much.
Using the literally using the print spooler service to inject a DLL as a print process into your system.
And this has never been seen before.
Now, by the way,
this particular way of doing it.
Yeah. I will say, while the internet last week was having a coronary over Devulo anti-cheat and its possible issues that it was going to cause, here is something that is not kernel level based, and in my opinion is a way bigger freaking deal than some possible kernel thing that some possible anti-cheat might have had an issue with. Like this is an actual thing that is happening.
And I mean, for instance, one of them, their developer build system it affected. Another one, it's actually on their game servers now. So it's hitting a number of systems. They're even targeting Chinese journalists, Tibetan activists, the government of Thailand. So he tells you this is Chinese, most likely, because it seems to be linked to enemies of the Communist Party, should we say?
China number one. You and I are next. We've been very critical of the Chinese gamers on this program. You better watch out, Brian. You better turn your Sprint pooler off, your print spooler off.
I know.
Cancel your service.
No, yeah. Do you remember when CCleaner's distribution platform was compromised?
Yeah, that was like last year.
CCleaner's updates. Yeah, CCleaner's putting out updates that infected people.
Yeah.
This is the same group that did that.
Oh, that was a pretty big exploit. Idea.
Yeah, this is not a small group. And as you can see, they're doing things that are legitimate, not remakes of existing hacks. Like this is a new hack that hasn't been seen up to this point. So they're pretty big.
Patch Tuesday, baby.
So,
let's get it, Microsoft.
Yep. And one thing that I think this is partially in the background for people who probably wouldn't know this, but there are, to be able to have drivers and things, the files have to be certified with a certificate, kind of like when you go to an HTTPS website and it's encrypted. There's a certificate that is given to that website that's only supposed to be available on that website. Well, this one used the Windows signing of certificates for their drivers. That shows that there was somehow an issue with that. So they were able to get a signed copy so that you didn't get a notice when this was trying to be installed saying it wasn't allowed to happen, which means that this is pretty big because they're using it on this, probably because they're trying to get money. They're doing somehow trying to get money out of this. But this is a pretty big attack for them to use this vulnerability and use a signed certificate to do this. They must have something they're going after, because you don't just waste a signed certificate on this when you have something that is legitimate.
Yeah.
So this driver should not be signed. So they're using somebody's certification to be able to handle this. So it's
Can you do anything to protect
I was looking
yourself
for
from this?
Well, ESET detects it. I'm sure Microsoft's antivirus now will detect this. So
Gotcha.
They seem to be going after specific targets. So I don't know that you're necessarily at risk. They seem to be going after, for instance, MMO game developers in South Korea and Taiwan.
Definitely Chinese.
Yeah. So they're going after these specific targets. And I'm looking for like the specific name of the ones they're attacking, and I'm not seeing. I can only see the certificate that was stolen was one belonging to Infinity, so NFINITY Games, during a 2018 supply chain attack. Is where they got this. So
interesting.
I'm looking for the name of the games that were attacked, and I'm just not seeing them. And I'm wondering if they're keeping those secret for a reason for now.
Yeah. All right. Well.
So.
You can check out the latest on this at dudeandit.com eventually.
Yeah. This would be a good thing to write an article on, actually.
I'll just steal the contents of this other article and repost it as my own content. I'll be a journalist. I'll be like every guy that works at Kotaku or IGN or any of these other gaming sites. I'm a journalist.
It's truly like you're just doing it the China way.
Yeah. Well, China way and apparently U.S. journalism as well. So, there you go. The links will be in the show notes, infectionpodcast.com.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something interesting. They explain it very well. Dead by Daylight.
Oh,
you're. I don't know what number this is on your favorite game list. Number 3. Where's it at currently?
What is my first 2?
Well, you like Tarkov. I don't know the order. So Tarkov, Dead by Daylight.
I like Dead by Daylight way more than I like Tarkov.
Okay, Dead by Daylight and Tarkov. What's the third one? There's a third one that you were playing.
Call of Duty is where it's at, dude.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty. So pretty much Call of Duty, then Dead by Daylight, and then Tarkov, right?
Except, I haven't played since I got this new computer. I have not installed. I did install Tarkov. I haven't played it. I don't even think I played Dead by Daylight on this computer yet either. But I do like those games. I just know I'm not playing them right now.
Not playing at this moment. So they're releasing a new DLC. Yes.
And now we've seen the past couple DLCs have been, kind of their own thing. And Brian, yet again, Dead by Daylight has figured out why people are interested in their game.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they are bringing lore, story, characters, the whole the whole fiction of people into Dead by Daylight. And the most recent example of that is Silent Hill, which is an old school, like what, PS1, PS2 game, or PS2 series, the Silent Hill series. Kind of that like original, I wouldn't call it, well, I guess it's kind of considered horror. I don't really know what you'd classify those, the Silent Hill games as, but the Silent Hill series. So here's a quick trailer for the Dead by Daylight Silent Hill DLC, which is coming in June. So very cool that they have yet again licensed another very well-known, very popular horror IP for their next set of DLCs. I'm trying to think the last 2 or 3, maybe even 4 DLCs have been proprietary in-house. I'm trying to remember who the last IP'd character was, but it's been a couple. It's been at least 2 or 3. This is great. Yeah. This is
was
super
it Stranger
cool.
Things? Was that their last one? Stranger Things?
You're right. Yeah.
I think it was.
You're right. It was Stranger Things. Yeah, you're right. It was Stranger Things. But this is great.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Silent Hill?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, is it really worth playing? I'm not really into horror stuff though. So
neither am I, but something about these games when they're just these, I don't know, something about these games on the PlayStation 2 with their like really harsh graphics, and I don't know, they're just, as Firebomb said, Silent Hill 2, they're weird games. They're kind of like, they're similar to some of like Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4 kind of thing as well. But I mean, I'm trying to think, when did the last Silent Hill game come out? I mean, I don't think has there been a Silent Hill game in the last 10 years? I don't think so. So it's not,
find the last one.
It's not like it's about 6 years ago. Okay. Yeah. Close enough. So it's not like they're taking, Stranger Things, for example, right? The hot new thing. For all intents and purposes, this is kind of a dead franchise in some regards. I mean, I didn't even know a game came out 6 years ago. The only ones I've ever played were on PlayStation 2. So this is great for the people that play Dead by Daylight and play it because of the grittiness and the horror and stuff like that. This is fantastic. They've knocked it out of the park. I don't typically buy their DLC right away. I will be buying this. I love Silent Hill.
So 1999 was when this was released.
Silent Hill 1,
Silent Hill.
But Silent Hill 2 is like the pinnacle.
Kind of the one that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very cool.
I'll check it out because that's that is something. So 2001 was Silent Hill 2, 2003 was Silent Hill 3, and that's the last.
I think everybody. Now there's been other ones since then. They've done some like weird remasters and some like crappy.
But
games.
I'm saying of the actual regular games, those are the 3 that I see.
You're talking like literally 20 years since like the original Silent Hill games. This is not a hot. When this got posted in our Discord, I was like, Jesus, I haven't heard about Silent Hill, and I couldn't tell you the last time I'd heard about anything Silent Hill. Yeah. So that's very cool.
Well, Firebomb says they had Homecoming and Downpour in 2011 and 2013. But you don't really hear about those. Like I've never
heard absolutely nothing about those. Yeah. So, this is an OG series for sure. Very cool. I'm excited for this.
Very good. Yeah, just 2008 is when Homecoming. Homecoming came out in 2008.
Well, and Firebomb is saying, and Firebomb's the expert in this stuff. He's saying Pyramid Headed better than Jason. That's
okay.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, for him to say that, that's I know that's hurting him to say it, I'm sure, but there you go.
Yeah, love it.
All right,
love it.
There was an interview. Is there anything you else want to talk about Dead by Daylight with?
No, sir. But it comes out in June. It's not out yet. It's part of it's going to be their June DLC.
Okay. One thing I was going to mention is there was an interview for Dead Matter that came out, and they talked a lot about the sound design and thing. It's an hour-long interview, so we're not going to play it here.
Oh,
but I just wanted to tell people about it. It's got some. It's just a straight-through interview, with gameplay happening. So if you're interested in that, you want to watch the whole thing, but we'll have a link in our show notes for that. But it's an hour-long interview about the sound design of Dead Matter. So just wanted to mention it.
It's on Mr. Atomic Duck's channel, he's had like all of the exclusives on Dead Matter stuff. So that's cool.
Yep. Another thing, so we talk a lot about these various games that have been coming to Steam, from the Epic Store and things like that. But there's one coming from the Xbox Game Pass, and that is Sea of Thieves. So Sea of Thieves is actually going on to Steam on June 3rd. And they have a trailer for that. So I don't know if you want to play the reveal trailer, but it's pretty much just a lot of running around and Sea of Thieves.
I don't think I downloaded that one. Oh no, I did. I did. Okay. Sea of Thieves, the new official trailer.
We are the new legends. This is the new age.
Copyright strike.
We are the new legends.
Yeah, here we go.
The new legends.
I mean, if we talk over it enough, I'm sure
who cares?
Oh well.
We're chasing victory, and we're not taking prisoners. Sound the starting gun. This life's not for beginners. I came to cash my check in. Come crown the new king. Never give up. We rise to the top. We're writing our page in the history books. We are the new legends. This is the new age. We are the new legends. The world will never be the same. We are the new legends. This is the new age. We are the new legends. The new legends.
I love the fact that Microsoft is they're still wanting people to use the Xbox Store, but they are not being dicks and allowing these games. The fact that the Halo Master Chief Collection is on Steam is almost incomprehensible. But Microsoft really truly understands that they are not going to be able to compete. They can't.
But see, this isn't only Microsoft now. Sony's been doing the exact same thing. All those Sony exclusives that they've had that are kind of like those on rails, semi like halfway video.
God of War is on Steam.
Are all coming to no. But I'm talking about like they're ones where like something Rain.
But
like a Hard Rain or like those ones.
Big titles.
Those are all coming to PC as well.
Okay, but I think like Last of Us, God of War. Like I'm thinking of their big boy titles. Microsoft is putting their big boy titles on Steam. Halo,
God of War, I think is coming to PC.
Is it?
Let me
okay.
Let me double check because I thought I saw they are a lot of those big titles.
I think they should. And here's the thing, it's not. I'm not opposed to using third-party launchers. It's just it makes me more likely to buy your game.
Yeah,
because it's in my universe. I mean, I think this is great.
Now, so actually, I take that back. I think the God of War one was a rumor. I don't know if that one's actually true. Maybe it's someone, it got leaked a little bit early and they're saying, oh, that's a rumor.
Yeah.
But I know some of the other titles, there's been a list of them that have been coming back to PC or coming to PC that were exclusives for not only Microsoft, but also Sony. It's been happening quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Hard Rain, there's a number of them. Death Stranding is coming to Steam. A lot of these exclusives.
To me, though, it really seems that Xbox and Microsoft are.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC.
They're all in.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying Sony isn't, but again, when Halo, Microsoft's biggest first-party game, series, one of the most popular or most iconic game franchises of modern gaming is on Steam. Yep. That shows to me that Microsoft is all in on stuff with Steam, which is great. Because Steam is awesome. I love Steam. I've got all my games on Steam. I really, really like Steam. It's not that I don't like things like Epic or don't like things like Origin or Uplay. It's just it's nice that everything's in one place. Now, I still use Battle.net for Call of Duty. I played Overwatch over the weekend, but it's just really, really cool to get that stuff on Steam. Again, the fact that Halo, I don't think people don't seem to understand this. Halo, Microsoft's baby, their whole thing is on Steam. That says a lot. That says a lot about it.
Yep. And so I think for some reason that's just been happening, and I think they're kind of realizing that the people that play console are going to buy it on console. The people that play on PC are going to buy it on PC. The people that don't want a console are just not going to buy a console. I understand the exclusives.
And I'm fine with exclusives.
Got me to purchase PS4, but put a time limit on it. Get the people that want it in the first year, and then after a year, release them everywhere else where you think you want them released.
Yeah, see, I mean, I'm fine with exclusives, right? I don't think every game should, because Microsoft and Sony spend hundreds of millions of dollars, with R&D and then development of these systems, and that's the cost, right? The cost is that you got to buy their system to play this game because it's available on their platform. So I've never been a person that has had a problem with exclusives. I would say from a financial standpoint, though, Brian, I'm probably a lot better off than a lot of people. So maybe that's why my opinion is the way it is. But I think you're ridiculous if you don't understand why exclusives are exclusives. Like the reason that Halo,
I understand them, but I think that eventually, release it to the wide audience so that you get as many sales as possible.
Yeah, and I think years down the line, like Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves has probably already hit its peak.
Sea of Thieves is really unique because they went through and it was an exclusive on the Xbox Game Pass. It was on Xbox Game Pass since its release, and it's been on there ever since. And so probably a lot of people that have Sea of Thieves have it only because of the Game Pass. I bet you there's not nearly as many people who own it outright.
Yeah. Gadlaw's pointing out that Nintendo still stands alone. That is true. Nintendo has stood in that, but they're not. They're their own little thing. They're in their own little corner.
With the Switch and everything, they're bringing in a lot of games onto their platform that normally wouldn't be on a Nintendo.
Yeah, but
on the Switch, you got all these Unreal Engine games.
But there's no Nintendo.
They're not
games
necessarily putting Mario. They're not putting Mario on anywhere else,
as they shouldn't, because I don't think it would feel or play right.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I tried playing one of their Mario games. They did like a kind of a mini piece or a phone game. Where you just jumped and got coins. It was horrible. It's like, why would you bother even putting this out?
Yeah, but they're not real games. Because originally it was like, wow, Mario. And it was like, well, it's not really. It's like the constant runner where you just click to jump over something.
Yeah, it wasn't like a regular Mario game. So
I haven't played my Switch in a while. Shocker.
Last
game I played, I was playing Pokemans. Was the last thing I played on.
Know what you should do? What would get you to probably do it? Put it on next to your bed,
That's where it's
have
been
it plugged
sitting
in on a charger.
Yeah, that's where it's been
ready
for the
to
last
go.
3 months.
And you haven't touched
Yes.
it there?
No.
You don't. When you sit in bed, you're not like, oh, I'll play a quick game.
I'm not touching my Switch when I'm in bed.
Okay. All right, we'll go there.
No, I haven't. And you know what's the funny thing too, Brian, is on my side table. Obviously, I've got like my alarm clock and phone chargers and whatnot. I've got my Switch and I've got an iPad that I use. The Kindle app on to read, and it's like weird phases where like that's all I'll do for weeks on end is either read something or play Switch. But then I just get out of the loop and I just go back to what I normally do, which is listening to podcasts. That's normally how I fall asleep. Yeah. And playing a game, like, well, I guess I probably could do that, but I don't know. I like to focus on something.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it'd be a good way to kind of get a little bit of screen time in. Not that you need more screen time.
Yeah, I mean, sitting. I'll tell you what. I went to work today for the first time into the office. When I got home at 5:00, it was like, wow, look at this place. This is where I live. How amazing is this? Because I've been working from home for 9 weeks. Yep. It was so nice I have not been sitting in this chair all day. It's been very nice so far. So,
well, that's why, like, I struggle to play games because I have my work laptop that I sit either, in my room and work on, or I sit out on my couch in the living room and work all day. And it's like, I just don't feel like at the end of the day, once I close that, walking in here and playing a game all the time. So it makes it really tough.
Yeah, I think I've kind of been in the same thing too, is I've been sitting here all day. And when I was sitting at home, obviously I was far less productive just because I was sitting here on my computer. I had, a Discord open, I wasn't playing games during the day, but
that's why I don't put any of those things on that work laptop that I have to use.
Now, what I would use is like, I had Twitter open and things like that. I'd be watching stuff, I had stuff on the TV or be listening to things all day. But then you're right. At the end of the day, when I was wrapping and everything up, it was like, I don't want to sit here anymore. You know what I've actually found myself doing? Super odd, not on topic of anything. I've been watching actual TV. Like, I've been just like 9:30, 10 o'clock will roll around when we're not doing the show. And I'll just go lay on the couch, turn on the TV and just flip through like all these like, Me TV and all these like channels with these weird like syndicated shows that just play over and over again. Just to something different. I wonder if anybody, I mean, obviously you said you're kind of feeling the same thing. You're just like, oh man, I don't want to touch it. Just leave me.
That's why I play on console, is because it doesn't feel the same. Like, it's more relaxed. I can sit back, it's not an online game generally where I have to focus the whole time, or I'll play a match of an online game and then I'll set it down. It's just, my ability to sit and then stare at the screen for another 4 hours is gone at that point.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping now that myself and hopefully other people soon are back at their normal place of business that will begin to change. Let's talk about 7 days. We've got more and more and more screenshots of presumably what Alpha 19 is hopefully going to look like whenever we're graced with its launch. Here is here's just a couple of pictures of some different things. Here's the new searchable bookshelf, which is cool. Brian, look at this. You can actually see the books
on the shelf. Yep.
Yeah, and they're typical like blurry when you get close enough to them to read, but you can see that there is distinctly. But previously, the bookshelf was just like a square block with just flat images.
A picture of the backs. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you went into a library and took a picture with your phone. That's what it looked like. They've added that. You can see the really cool baseball bat with the chain and fire things, stakes on it. That's pretty cool. And then here's a picture of a zombie running at you inside of this bookstore. So that's one set of screenshots here. The next one is which I find to be odd, an in-game clock, which obviously will show the time, but the time is already in the upper right-hand corner or left-hand corner all the time anyway. So a cool object, but
I'm surprised it's still working.
but completely useless. Like, serves absolutely no purpose because the time is always there. It's never not there. Cool decor item, I guess, but will it have any gameplay impact? I don't think so. And then finally, here is just here's a couple pictures of Joel's base that he's working on, while he was, testing Alpha 19. You can see some of the different things here. You can see the supply crates. By the way, you see this beverage cooler here. This is what things used to look like that bookshelf. It was these very flat images with no texture. God damn it. This is what almost everything in the game looked like, including those bookshelves. And that's what they've been going through in Alpha 19 and fixing. Because this looks atrocious. Atrocious. Like this is like a 40 by 40 pixel thing that is blown. It makes no sense. So this stuff all needs to be gone. And I think we're getting closer and closer to that with Alpha 19. You saw it with the bookshelves. And you can see in this one, here's a table set up with some candles on it, which all looks pretty cool. I'm hyped, Brian. I just wish it should have come out. It should have come out over the past 5 or 6 weeks. It would have been perfect. Everybody would have been home. They missed it. Yep. They missed it. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and my guess, remember I said the 21st was the release, like when they started testing.
Yeah.
Nope, that was come and gone, so that wasn't it.
Another prediction wrong. Put another prediction in the wrong Infection Podcast tab. It's like a bad scoreboard. It's like 3 things that are right and just a laundry list of wrong over and over again.
I don't try to do that. It's just,
it's not you. It's just it's trying to figure this stuff out. Now, obviously there was a reason that they didn't do it, but you want to talk about capitalizing on what for most people is an unfortunate situation. That would have been it, in my opinion, because this game is an incredible amount of time you have to sink into it.
Yeah, and this is something that if they've done such amazing improvements. I think people are getting a little more antsy to play this one than some of the past ones because they've really gone through and actually reworked their UI and the graphics in the world. And this is a major polishing. Now, we have said before, like they're keeping on pushing towards polish and getting something that's ready to release. I still think they're like, after this one or two more from maybe saying they're coming out of alpha. Because what else are they going to do to this game? I mean, other than replace more graphics.
Yeah, but they can do that once they release.
A lot more. Yeah, they don't have to do it right now. Like I don't know what, as far as gameplay, other than fixing Jane's voice. We saw that they already put in a Jane model, that they've been working on. That what else are they going to do prior to releasing? I mean, they've been replacing the zombies and they put in these vehicles and they've done a lot of these things. Like, what's next? Like, what are they going to keep on doing?
I have no idea. I want Alpha 19.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, let's talk about Deadside real quick. It's been a couple weeks since we've talked about Deadside and some of the things that they are working on. This is their update 0.1.6. Their anti-cheat module has been updated. More than 400 cheats have already been detected and banned. That was a big issue on launch. Hopefully this is continuing to work towards that. They fixed some exploits with multiple logins of the same character. So God only knows how you were able to exploit that. But that obviously was an issue. And they've added some things to the admin portal if you host a server. Admins can now spawn items. You can now change the loot spawn chance multiplier. You can now set a restart schedule, which is cool. You can now ban up to 500 people. The offline characters can be manually banned. So if somebody comes in, griefs, and then leaves, you can take a picture of the name and actually ban them. And then they're working on kill logs as well. It's not normal, Brian, that we see a game as new as Deadside is that seems to be, catering's not the right word, but spending a lot of time on admin consoles for third-party server hosts. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, games like Ark and Rust all have that, but this game is brand new. Like, it's been out weeks, and they're already doing things that you don't normally see this early in the lifespan of a game. And obviously, that just shows you the developers probably come from a modding background because they see the importance.
I see a lot of
stuff.
Arma influences and things like that from this, which would be an indicator. And another thing, I want to give me your opinion on this. How close to feature wise do you think they are to Miscreated currently? Like, because Miscreated still does not have a good set of mod management tools on there.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. This game
they don't
is not.
have.
The base building is abysmal. There's no clan system,
which is pretty similar to Miscreated.
Now,
I feel like they're inching towards Miscreated.
You're giving Miscreated a bad rap. Hold on.
I don't think they're that much farther behind them.
They really. I know. I'm not a Miscreated fan either, but Miscreated is far further along than these guys are. Now, are these guys inching up on them? Absolutely. The base building is a great example.
They're coming pretty close, though. In such a short period of time,
I would
to where
say
Miscreated is.
Let's say 30%. It's not that close. But here's the thing:
the base building system on Miscreated isn't that good.
But Brian, the base building system in this game doesn't even work because there's no clan system. So you can literally not allow other people into your base, or they get stuck permanently. Like that is. They might as well not even have the base building system because it's useless.
But the thing is,
you literally can't use it.
They could program that in a week, though. And
that's
that'll be interesting to see how quickly they do it.
So that's my key. Are they anywhere near Miscreated now? No. But with a few tweaks, they could be a decent chunk of the way there. Are they there
that's
now?
What I'm saying,
no,
is like,
absolutely.
At this rate, though.
Oh, at this rate, they'll blow them out of the park.
That's what I'm saying. They're like well on track to pass them once they get a few key things put in place. Like they're already passing them in some areas. Now, base building they need and the clan system, all that they still need to do, but storage, all that stuff. I bet you that they're going to pass them here pretty quickly.
Yeah. Another big issue on Deadside is
recently Miscreated put out a lot of guns. They did a lot of things in this last update, but that's like one of the first times they've done that.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. The one thing that it makes Miscreated 10,000 times better than this, Brian, is the map itself. The Miscreated map is beautiful.
The level design on Miscreated is what makes it
top notch. The level design on Deadside sucks. There's oh, there's a town over here. It's like 3 dilapidated cabins, and it's like, oh, there's your point of interest. Here's
That's the Arma influence.
Yeah,
it's like
here's
Arma
my
all over
6.
again.
Yeah, we're running 7 guys deep, and we run into this little thing, like looking for loot, and there's like a can of food combined in these 3 houses. So there are plenty of things, but it's early enough in the development that stuff kind of gets a pass. Yeah, PH saying they could, but are they? They're not right now, but they could be. Who knows? I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They seem to have a pretty good head on their shoulders for what they're doing.
I'm just looking at their trajectory. I just see them passing them in a reasonable amount of time.
So do I.
Feature-wise.
Like within the next year, absolutely.
The world won't. Yeah, the world I don't think will be as cool looking initially, and whether or not they'll ever get to the point where it looks as good is one thing, but I just feature-wise, I see them passing them this year.
I could see in the next 12 months Deadside being very close to, if not better than Miscreated in terms of features. Not necessarily gameplay, that's a subjective thing, but in terms of what can the game actually offer you. And I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah. No. And we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they keep this pace up. A lot will come down to, are they making money? The tough thing about a studio like this and this size, if they aren't making the sales, like they can't dedicate, and this is where the danger comes in. They won't be able to dedicate all the time to doing this if they're not making sales.
Well, but see, there's also another thing that you're missing out here. It's not just the sales. This game is only $16. Steam takes 40% of it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're making, and then plus once they're not a US based company, so I'm not sure what their tax. I think they're somewhere over in like Western Europe or Eastern Europe somewhere. So I don't know what the tax system is like, but they are probably making dollars per sale. And it's not like there's millions of copies that have sold. I mean, it's a relatively small game.
Bad pixel.
Yeah, I don't believe they're US based. I mean, SteamDB estimates that they've got.
Yeah, they're from Russia.
SteamDB estimates they have anywhere between 200,000 and 500,000 owners. So cut that in the middle, 3.5. If they're only making a couple bucks a copy, that money goes away. Plus, you've got server upkeep and you know, this is making a game, especially making an early access game, is not a license to print money in any stretch of the imagination. But they've kept their player base up. We'll do current players here in a little bit. Their player base is not huge, but it's been relatively consistent. Like they hover around the same, like 2 to 3,500 players for as long as we've talked about the game, which is for a game that is in its state is pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah,
because it's not like it's a finished game at any stretch of the imagination. Admittedly, it's not like they're pulling the wool over anybody's head. It's just what the game is.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see kind of where it goes. That's the thing is in that year, are they going to be able to maintain this pace of adding features, implementing things, improving the map? And if they have enough sales in their mind, if they're meeting kind of what they like for their sales, then I would expect them to do that. But if they see a droop going into the summer and like some other games pull all the attention and people aren't buying it anymore, then you'll probably see them turn into something like Atlas, where you just don't. When's the last time you saw a feature update in Atlas?
Yeah, well,
it's been a while.
The key is, and you got to strike while the iron's hot. And if it takes
but I see these guys doing. I see these guys doing that. They've got anti-cheat implemented. They're doing the things they need to do.
They need to fix the clan system.
Yeah,
it makes the game literally unplayable.
Surprised they don't. I can't imagine that not being one of the next things that they're doing.
It has to be. I mean, it has to be, because the game is useless. There is no point of building a base if you're playing. Unless you're playing by yourself, there's no point of building a base.
Not that complex.
Yeah.
And it's not that complex of a system, as far as implementing something like this isn't super complex. They're not reworking a whole new crazy system to do this, but it would make the game it'd be such a nicer feature, especially for groups like us, where we run through and it's like, oh, we have to wait for Nick to log in before we can get into the base. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. So
yeah, or if you're logged into the base, you have to wait for me to come in so that you can get out. I mean, that's literally how bad it is right now. That's unplayable. They might as well not even have it, because it's useless.
And we'll see. I would hope that in the next patch or 2 patches, within those 2 patches, that will be one of the key features that you see in this.
Yes, sir. And when that is the case, we'll come back and play it for Game of the Week again. And by the way,
because then we can test some new things.
Full disclosure, we were given copies of the game, so just I like to make sure that we mention that. So don't think that like, oh, you guys are like I mean, I think we just ripped him a pretty good one. So just for the record, Brian, set the facts straight here.
Very good. Is there? I mean, I think that pretty much covers it for that. We're not going to make it through. We're not going to make it through our notes. There's no way.
Yeah.
We're so far away. ROE, they put out an update this past week, and this is their May 21st update. They made some changes to some of the heroic challenges. They put in some new items in the store and some bug fixes. So and they enabled their Season 8 heroic challenges, and that if you have the Adventurer Pass and you've reached level Tier 100, then you can do those challenges, and then you get exclusive rewards, portraits, accessories, styles, things like that. And then they added the More King Agent special standalone character. They added the skin pack for her as well. And then they did 3 bug fixes in this patch. So that is for ROE.
Cool.
SCUM, they put out 2 patches this week. One was a hot fix and one was a bigger update. Now they have some videos kind of showing some of the things in those updates.
Okay.
Just showing off 2 of the features. So I don't know if you want to play the first one, the one that's just is for this first update.
What's the first one called? All I have is the titles. Is it the admin?
SCUM patch number 4, update number 4.
Admin helper or patch number 4. I have patch number 4. Okay.
Yeah, patch number 4.
Let's take a quick look at this video for patch number 4.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video update. We got some pretty interesting things in this patch. More sentry improvements, new ways of protecting your doors, and also the 424 engine update. But you can learn more about that in the patch notes. Enjoy the video.
In this update, we made some changes to how death works in the game. When your prisoner gets seriously hurt, they will now fall into a comatose state, and a respawn screen will appear. The player can choose to respawn like before, but if their prisoner is still alive, they will get a chance to be revived. During coma, other players can assist the dying prisoner by resuscitating them. This will allow them to wake up with a small percentage of their health back. This option replaces the previously available squad respawn mechanic, which many players felt was too unfair. Now you will have to take care of your wounded squad mates and protect them if they fall in combat.
Hello there, Jesus here. As we've just released some slightly controversial changes to the lockpicking minigame in the last patch, we've decided we can do better. So brace yourselves, as in this patch you're getting a lockpicking rebalance along with some changes to the mechanics and quality of life. First things first, lockpicking is back to the F button, since we've seen putting it onto the mouse didn't work as well and promoted randomness over skill. Also, cancelling lockpicking with escape is now possible at all stages inside the minigame and will be instant. Keep in mind that if you're lockpicking while cancelling, it will count as a failure and damage you accordingly. Damn, did I say damage? Oh well, I guess there's no hiding it anymore, huh? Enter the lock protection system. Aside from being able to put locks on your doors, we've added the first version of the lock protector, a small shocker crafted from a bunch of junk. Lock protection will use up a slot on the door and will get destroyed if the lock is picked, so plan placing your protections accordingly. So, what happens when someone tries to pick your precious protected post-turn? They die. Well, not really. They just get damaged a little bit depending on the number of protection systems on the door, and then maybe die. The damage is, of course, accompanied by nice visuals and sound, both inside the minigame and in the world, so others can see you getting shocked at your failures. Oh, and it's finally possible to remove locks and lock protections from the door by interacting with the door or right-clicking on the widget in the door user interface. Along with these changes, we've randomly tweaked some lockpicking related numbers. That's it for today's lockpicking update. Hope you stay safe and protected. Until the next time, Jesus.
We repaired the repair all base elements option on flags. Element decay will now start slower after repairing it to full health. Repair all option will also be less sensitive, and you will only be able to repair elements after they lost 1% of their full health.
In this patch, we added visual representation of damaged vehicles. So from now on, you will be able to see how much your precious vehicle is damaged. Be careful how you drive and always wear a seatbelt. And this would be all for this video update. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Psst. Hey guys, I managed to sneak out of the basement and I got my hands on some leaks. Check them out.
All right, so we're looking at a ghillie suit and the way that a different player looks on that. Looking at some a weapon malfunction. Oh, that's actually really cool. So the bolt action rifle there jammed. That's super neat.
Probably if your weapon is dirty or has damage to it, then they have a jamming function.
I don't think I've ever seen an actual jamming function. I've seen guns like have issues, but like an actual jamming function, that's nuts. This game's got so many cool features.
They've
I have no
really
interest
gone
in
into the details. I keep hoping that someday, it'll just blossom.
Isn't that crazy though? Like it's got
the game has everything that you want,
yes.
but you're just not into it.
Could care less. It's so bizarre. Maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah,
it's not you, Brian. It's me. Actually, no, it's you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it probably is. But that's the thing too. Is like this game has everything. Like, that's why I keep saying, if they just really focus on modding, like, I think it'll make that game take off. Like, let players build into it, whatever it is, and discover the game in their own way. Because for some reason, people just aren't taking to the way that it's set up currently.
Yeah, weird.
But they're putting in all the features. They're putting in all the cool things. Like, just make modding really an important part of it, and let people do it and see if your game then becomes super popular.
It will get there. I'm pretty confident.
Yep. So that, I mean, I'd like to see that, but the game, I keep saying Unreal Engine, something on Unreal Engine, with all these cool basic features, and this is another one of those that I think would be a good one for that. So
yeah.
The Long Dark, they came out with an update this week, and this is a hot fix to 1.77. They talk about there are some known issues out there currently, but they fixed probably about 30 to 40 issues in this. Most of the they have some general fixes because they added the spray cans and all that. Some fixes to those about clipping issues. Some art fixes for some of the areas, and then UI fixes, and then some general fixes for all the game modes. So nothing really specific, no new features, but a lot of bug fixes for their latest release.
Interesting.
Arc came out with a couple updates this week. The 310.94, which was on the 20th, they added in a additional protection to GCM Explorer nodes and glitches to address potential exploits. So they're trying to prevent those. Fixed an oversized pain volume on extinction, which caused players to die due to mesh detection. It seems like they fixed another one of those last week on the same server. So maybe they did it even more on the same thing, or fixed another area. 310.111, they fixed multiple level design bugs related to holes, floating foliage, and volumes. Made some UI improvements to the tech grenade launcher and Giant Turtle's breath attack. Additional protection against glitches on Genesis. Then fixed some bugs where XP was not being awarded properly when collecting glitches. So that is the current Arc updates.
Cool.
And then, do we want to do the Apex Legends ones, or we want to save that again?
Your choice.
We'll go through it quickly because we've already put it off a couple times. So one thing, there's been a hint at possibly Apex Legends coming to Steam.
Ooh.
Because inside of it, they found some files called v_charm_valve_potato. So people aren't sure if that's just what they happen to have named it, or if it's a reward that's going to be given away when they get to the Steam platform. So that's one thing. It's not confirmed. That is more of a rumor. And then their Season 5 patch notes that they've done. First of all, they have a new character called Loba. I assume it's Loba. Maybe Laba. But she has a jump drive bracelet, so she can teleport. And then the Ultimate Black Market Boutique. They place a portable device that allows you to teleport nearby loot to your inventory. Each friendly or enemy legend can take up to 2 items. And then passive is the eye for quality. Nearby epic and legendary loot can be seen through walls. The range is the same as Black Market Boutique. They did some map updates to Kings Canyon. Charge towers, they've added in there. The season quest, The Broken Ghost, they introduced the season quest in this one. And then the seasons tab they've added in. So you can go through and see that the progression of your quest and your levels. They have their Season 5 Battle Pass they've added. They've added the reconnect option, so you can now reconnect. If you get disconnected in the middle of a match, you can now reconnect to the game. No, that's something they were really wanting. Then they updated some of the existing legends, a bunch of updates to the existing legends, and then a full list of bug changes. So there is information. We'll have links in the show notes if you want to go check out specifics about Loba. They have all the information, like her age is 34 and her real name, all this stuff. If you want to get really into that, you can go check out. And then I have another page that you can go check out that has a lot more details on the particular map updates that you've seen. So the Season 5 map updates, if you want to go and see what all has changed and really see the differences between the areas, you can go through, and there's a lot of side-by-side screenshots that actually show you the before and afters and things like that for this. So that is Apex Legends.
Very, very cool. We did it.
I think that's it. Yeah, we actually got through our notes this week, and I didn't have to push anything off till next week.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Good work, Brian. Proud of you.
Yes. All right. I think that's it for the show. We're going to wrap it up.
All right. See you guys later. All right. Well, on that exciting note, let's take a look at some video games and the people that are currently playing them. Let's take a look at Ark. Currently playing this 37,924. The 24-hour peak, 66,181, and the 70 peak, 79,149. The Rust. Current players currently playing 44,375. The 24-hour peak, 66,793, with a 7-day peak of 78,070. Taking a look at 7 Days to Die, 13,756 people currently playing. The 24-hour peak, 15,845, with a 7-day peak of 21,423. Conan Exiles. Currently playing 11,646. The 24-hour peak, 17,088, with a 7-day peak of 20,378. And finally, wrapping us up here is Deadside. Currently playing 2,128. The 24-hour peak, 2,544, with a 7-day peak of 3,575. And some pretty strong numbers there for Deadside, and that is current players, Brian.
Yep, and hopefully it keeps up, because it'd be nice if they keep that support to where they keep putting in those features that we discuss. All right, so we're ready for tip of the week?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, sometimes I give a general gimme tip, but this time I'm going to do it for a specific one, Xera, since we'll be playing it on Friday. This is tip of the week. All right, so for Xera, I thought I'd give you some things that maybe you'd find useful in games, hopefully some things that you didn't know about up until this point. One thing that does happen in game, and I'm assuming it still happens with this patch, but when you die in game, you will lose some experience on your XP bar when you respawn or you die. So if you're dying a lot, you'll notice that some of your XP for the next level will kind of go backwards, so keep an eye on that. Another thing that you can do in game that I didn't know about is you could type /outfit in game and actually changes your camouflage. Now, this, once again, hopefully this hasn't changed, but this is something that I know that when we were in groups, you want to kind of have all the same outfit on so you recognize each other quickly. But you can go through, type /outfit. It'll change your camouflage maybe to match the environment that you happen to be in at the time. Or if you want to make your squad look the same, you can do that. Also, those markers, you'll see when you're in a group, they have the markers that are above your head. Those work at 500 meters. So if you don't see your teammates, the markers are above their head and you don't see them, that means they're over 500 meters away. If they're within, then they're within 500 meters. Another thing, the food in game. So if you're starving and you're hungry, remember that the canned food in game actually gives you hydration and hunger. So if you're for some reason unable to find water bottles or something like that, and you're hitting the point where you're just needing water, some sort of hydration, eat some canned food, and that will help you gain both. So hopefully that helps you out in game. Hopefully we'll see you on Friday for Game of the Week, and then we'll be giving away some copies of this here in just a few minutes. And hopefully if you get that, you'll join us on Friday and come play along, and we'll be able to get a good squad going and have some fun.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
By the way,
Game of the Week is, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Game of the Week is always a good time. We've strayed away from it recently, but when there's something to play, we'll be doing it. You're muted.
Oh, that's right. I must have bumped a key. Oh, there must be some sort of hotkey to mute, because I don't remember that. All right. Well, yeah. So if you're interested in doing it, make sure you come and join us, because we'll be playing, and hopefully we'll be able to do it some more. But I think these are permanent keys, so if you do want a key in here, you'll be able to keep playing it whenever we play it again.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, on that note, let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and do these giveaways here. So I'm going to close the raffle, and you said we wanted to do 3?
Yeah, 3 or 4, whatever you think makes sense. Let's do it.
All right, so first of all, win the raffle. Congratulations, PH. And he said rigged, like right as I clicked. So so he didn't even. Yeah, he won himself. It's rigged. So congratulations, PH. You'll get the first copy. We'll go ahead and draw another one. Do you think Amnon is going to want to do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is up his alley.
So yeah, Nissan Communications. Get the second one. How is it giving him? Why is it giving him again to PH? We'll do it again. Just for Gaming. Congratulations, you get the third one. We'll do one more here. And Saul Greatman. So congratulations. And I'll give you those 4 keys. And hopefully you guys are able to get it installed and join us on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make a note of this too before I lose track of it in chat.
Yeah. So thanks to, again, the guys and gals over at Xera for hooking us up with those keys. We greatly appreciate it. And if you weren't here live, we'll have a handful of keys to be given away Friday night. So if you want a key, get in there Friday night. We'll pop a key over towards you, and hopefully you'll join us on a Friday night game of the week. We haven't had one in I think the last time we Friday night game of the week was Deadside, and that was about 3 or so weeks ago at this point. So it's been a couple weeks, but I'm glad to be back on something. So,
definitely ready. All right, we ready to roll on out of here?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
All right. Well, if you'd like to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, my blog, biteoftech.com, and that's with an I. Also, you can go to our website, infectionpodcast.com. If you do that, make sure you go to the right-hand side and join our server on Discord. On there, you can submit news throughout the week. You come hang out and play with us on different game nights. Any night of the week, if you're playing a game, you're welcome to jump into a channel, offer to have other people play with you. On there, we also have links to our YouTube, our Mixer, our Twitch, and our BitChute page. So if you're interested in seeing the video forms of the podcast, you can do that. If you go to the very lower right-hand side, you'll see all the audio forms, whatever kind of platform you want to listen to us on. Those are recorded versions after the fact, not live. We also have on there a link to our Steam group if you want to get a notification before our live show, so you can participate in the chat, you can participate in the game giveaways. Also, we have on there show notes for all episodes. So this will be 280 episodes of the show. So if you're interested in following along, maybe you're going to listen after, watch after the fact, or there's maybe a video or something you wanted to see, we'll have links to all of those things in the show notes. So you're more welcome to go to our website and pull those up as you listen along. And then if you're interested in supporting us, one thing you've heard throughout the show, we had a lot of people come through with the Twitch Prime subs. We say thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you to do. Also, we have our Humble Bundle, so humble.infectionpodcast.com. By next week, I'll have the Amazon links figured out. So amazon.infectionpodcast.com will still work at that point. And then anything else, you're more than welcome to send any hate mail to nick@infectionpodcast.com.
Wow.
That's it.
I mean, honestly, dude, I was just sitting here like browsing something on my phone while you're doing your outro, and you just totally attacked me. Unprovoked. I'm literally
more
just sitting here.
One, so
I'm just sitting here. Yeah, I'm just sitting here scrolling through Twitter, listening to do your outro, and then all of a sudden it's like a shot, like a bullet to the chest. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess they could send me some messages.
Yeah,
send me free keys.
It started with Brian screwing up the show notes and then attacking me at the end. So, it's all full circle.
The beginning and the end is a mess because of me.
Brian, thank you as always, my man. Appreciate it. We will see you Friday night for Xera in Discord. The link to that is on our website. And then we'll see you again next Tuesday for another episode of Infection. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank a couple of those individuals that we talked about, including our friend Spaceship Donnie, Johnny Fine, Firebomb, and Saul Greatman, all heading us up with the multiple month resubscriptions here on Twitch. Guys, we greatly appreciate it, and we are full steam ahead on PAX West 2020, and your Prime and not Prime subs to the channel here greatly help subsidize a very, very expensive trip for everybody involved. So We can't thank you enough for that. Well, my name is always Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, you missed any portion of the show, show notes, videos, pictures, malware information. You can find all that on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Stay safe. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.